Hello, I'm Robert Balfance, Research Professor at the Center for the Social Organization of Schools, Johns Hopkins University, and Director of the Everyone Graduates Center.
Personalized learning often makes sense to students and teachers. Customizing learning experiences and instruction based on the circumstances under which students are learning and learn can make them more effective. In order to shift educational practice on a broad scale, away from more traditional approaches, however, teachers, school leaders, parents, and community members are going to want to know that personalized learning leads to better outcomes for more students, and it is worth the effort required to learn how to do it well. The challenge is that our existing measurement framework is built around traditional instructional practices, which are centered on short-term memorization, highly repetitive incremental knowledge acquisition from grade to grade, and teaching to the middle. Metrics which capture average performance or make comparisons to normative outcomes are not likely to capture the full range of beneficial outcomes that could be associated with personalized and more competency-based learning. Thus, there is a need for a measurement framework for personalized learning that is both evidence-based to inspire confidence in its findings and practical and user-friendly so it does not impose cumbersome measurement burdens on teachers and students. Thus, the goal of our project was to co-create a measurement framework for personalized learning that is evidence-based and rooted in the learning sciences, but also practical and usable by teachers in typical conditions. In the initial phase of the project, we combined a deep dive into the relevant cognitive, behavioral, and psychological literatures with a field scan of early adopters of personalized learning approaches. During the second phase of the project, we identified an advisory group of teachers with a variety of personalized learning experiences and approaches to help us develop a usable prototype of a measurement system for personalized learning outcomes rooted in the learning sciences. We approached our work with our advisory team of teachers and administrators as an opportunity to co-create using the liberatory design thinking approach, ensuring the essential presence of diversity, inclusion, and equity. In this way, design thinking plus equitable practices equals equity-centered design. The key learning science premise which guided our review is that evidence of strong learning and strong learning environments exists when students acquire and retain key skills and knowledge, learn how to learn or be self-regulated learners, believe in their ability to learn, and are passionate to do so. We reviewed existing literature and field use of measures that capture A, knowledge and skill acquisition, and just as importantly, long-term knowledge retention, B, executive function and metacognition, and C, social, emotional, and motivational outcomes. What did we find? What we found is that there is over 100 years of R&D in how to measure knowledge and skill acquisition, and recent advances with computer adaptive testing which hold promise for getting at deeper learning. But we only found minimal research and guidance on knowledge and skill retention. In short, most of our R&D has been focused on serving the functions of schooling as we have traditionally organized it, and being able to show students acquire knowledge and skills at a given point in time. For example, third grade reading skills. But if the goal is to build students' deeper knowledge and understanding of the world, and the tools which generate and spread it, for example, reading, writing, and mathematics, then it matters as much that our teaching methods help students retain and build upon their learning. In terms of learning how to learn, traditional measurement tools for executive function, the air traffic controller of learning, and metacognition, how we organize our learning, have been designed to measure one individual at a time, making them impractical for classroom use. Very recently, there has been some promising work to develop classroom-level instruments, and it's worth keeping our eye on those. They may become very useful soon. Motivation to learn is a well-developed field. Here, the challenge is picking the right survey instrument for the task at hand. Not always a simple matter. Measuring social-emotional development is a rapidly evolving field. We have some sense of which social-emotional skills are most closely associated with short-term academic learning, such as goal setting, self-management, and growth mindset, but we are still learning which drive longer-term educational attainment. Our advisory educators engaged in empathy interviews to better understand the wisdom in the room by seeking to understand each other's thoughts, emotions, and motivations. They took notes and shared them with everyone as we collectively built an empathy map using the Miro platform to illustrate our findings and reflections. As we developed a measurement framework centered around equitable actions and outcomes, we were guided by the following considerations developed by the educators, detailed in the slide, for using the framework with their students. most essential insight we gained from teachers and administrators was that our premise was not fully formed. They agreed that there is a need to have a measurement framework for personalized learning that provides formative and summative information on student outcomes and progress to answer the "is it worth it" question. But they argued this is only part of what a measurement framework for personalized learning needs to provide. The other essential piece is capturing data which informs continuous improvement efforts. That is because they argue, at its heart, personalized learning is about teachers and students being constantly adaptive. To be effective, this adaptation requires data to help guide choices. What they called for was the development of a personalized learning measurement routine that provided formative, summative, and continuous improvement data aligned with the learning science framework of knowledge acquisition and retention, learning how to learn, and motivation to learn, supported by social-emotional development. We then aligned the most user-friendly and practical evidence-based measurement tools identified through our search to this vision. Here is what we came up with. For acquiring and retaining knowledge and academic skills, we recommended, where possible, that existing district-based assessments be supplemented with computer-adaptive formative assessments and summative assessments that are built around the current unit of study, but include a sampling of questions from prior material to support active recall and long-term knowledge retention. For learning how to learn, we recommend a focus on executive function in the elementary grades and metacognition in middle school and high school. When available, we suggest using validated group measures. When not, short surveys, see the guidebook for examples, or bi-monthly focus groups. For motivation to learn, we recommend a longer annual survey based on a motivation construct that resonates with your goals for personalized learning to establish a baseline and track year-over-year change. Then using short, more frequent surveys like those provided by PERTS to support continuous improvement efforts, and weekly emoji-based surveys to establish the pulse of the class and enable adoptive responses to it. For the social-emotional components of learning, we recommend combining an instrument which enables quick adult ratings like the DESA short form that focuses on the social-emotional skills which support academic learning, with a student survey of classroom learning environments like Cultivate. When we put this together, we have a prototype measurement framework for personalized learning that is evidence-based and practitioner-informed, which provides both summative and comparative outcomes and supports continuous improvement. The measurement routine created enables summative and comparative measures to answer the "is it worth it" question through the use of computer-adaptive and end-of-unit assessments, which focus on both current material as well as asking students to recall and integrate learning and knowledge from prior units. In addition, existing surveys are used to establish baseline and end-of-year measures of students' motivation to learn. The measurement routine also supports continuous improvement efforts through either using group measures, surveys, or focus groups of executive function in elementary grades and metacognition in middle school and high school to capture the impacts of adaptive personalized learning strategies on learning how to learn. Teacher rating SEL skills and students' self-report of classroom environments round out the measurement routine and further enrich both summative and comparative measurement and continuous improvement. The next step is to practice validate prototype measurement framework. We hope this brief presentation provides some insight into our learning and journey as we work to develop a practical measurement framework for personalized learning that is both grounded in the learning sciences and also practically useful in typical classrooms. Thank you.